Stop scrolling for a moment because what I'm about to share could genuinely change the trajectory of your health over the next 20 years. And I say that carefully because I've spent 15 years watching patients walk into my office after receiving a cancer diagnosis, and in almost every case, when I review their history, I can see the missed opportunities. The simple daily habits that would have made a difference, but nobody told them about. Not because doctors don't know, but because there's no appointment slot for prevention. No billing code for teaching you how to keep cells healthy instead of treating them after they've gone wrong. I'm Dr. Hartmann, and today I'm going to walk you through 5 daily habits, ranked from helpful to absolutely essential, that regulate the cellular processes that determine whether the damaged cells in your body right now, and yes, you have some, get repaired and cleared, or allowed to divide and grow. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to start doing tomorrow morning. And I'm going to tell you something at number 1 that 92% of people over 60 are getting backwards. And when you fix it, everything else works better. So don't skip ahead. Watch this in order. Each habit builds on the one before it. But before we start, I need to ask you something. Leave a comment right now and tell me 2 things: your age and this. Has a doctor ever sat down with you and explained how to actually prevent cancer, not just detect it early? I read every comment, and your answers help me understand what you need to hear next. Now let's begin with number 5. Number 5 is something that sounds almost too simple to matter, and that's exactly why most people dismiss it. But the cancer prevention research on this is genuinely remarkable. I'm talking about morning sunlight exposure. Specifically 10 to 15 minutes of natural outdoor light on your face and arms before you drink your first cup of coffee. Now, before you think this is just about vitamin D, which we'll touch on, let me explain what's actually happening inside your body when morning light hits your eyes. Your body runs on an internal clock called your circadian rhythm. Think of it like the conductor of an orchestra. When the conductor is on time and in sync, every instrument plays correctly. When the timing is off, everything sounds chaotic. Morning sunlight is the signal that resets your conductor every single day. When light enters your eyes in the morning, it triggers a cascade of signals to a tiny region in your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. That's just a fancy name for your master clock. This clock then sends timing signals to every cell in your body, telling them when to be active, when to repair, when to rest. And here's what almost nobody knows. Your immune system, the part of your body that identifies and destroys cancer cells before they can grow, operates on that same clock. When your circadian rhythm is strong and consistent, your immune system is most active during the day, scanning for damaged cells. At night, it shifts to repair mode, but when your circadian rhythm is disrupted, your immune surveillance gets confused. Cells that should be identified and cleared slip through undetected. A comprehensive study from Harvard Medical School, published in Nature Communications in 2019, found that people with irregular circadian rhythms had significantly higher rates of several cancers, including breast, prostate, and colon cancer, compared to those with consistent daily light exposure patterns. The researchers found that just 15 minutes of bright natural light in the early morning was enough to maintain strong circadian rhythm and immune function. I had a patient, Susan, 63 years old, from Winston-Salem. She'd been dealing with chronic fatigue and elevated inflammatory markers for years. Her sleep was terrible. She felt foggy all day. We started her on a simple protocol: wake up, go outside, stand in the sunlight for 12 minutes, then come back in and start her day. Within 3 weeks, her sleep improved dramatically. Within 2 months, her inflammatory markers, specifically CRP and IL-6, both linked to cancer progression, dropped by 31 and 24%. Her primary care doctor asked what medication she'd started. When she told him it was morning sunlight, he was genuinely surprised. Susan told me she hadn't realized how disconnected she'd become from natural light. She'd been going from her bedroom to her kitchen to her car, all indoors, and then spending her entire day inside. Here's how you do this correctly. Wake up at a consistent time every day. As close to the same time as possible, even on weekends. Within 30 minutes of waking, go outside, not through a window. Actual outdoor light. Windows block the specific wavelengths your brain needs. Stand or sit in natural light for 10 to 15 minutes. Face the direction of the sun, but don't stare directly at it. Just let the light reach your eyes naturally. Do this before coffee, before breakfast, before checking your phone. Make it the first thing. If it's overcast, it still works. You don't need direct sunlight. You just need outdoor light, which is still significantly brighter than indoor lighting even on cloudy days. Your synergy tip for this one: combine your morning light exposure with light movement. A short walk around the block. This doubles the circadian signal and gets your body ready for the day. That's number 5. Simple, free, and more powerful than most people realize. But what you put in your body in the morning might be even more important. That's number 4. Number 4 is a food that's been used medicinally for thousands of years. It's mentioned in ancient Egyptian medical texts. It was given to Olympic athletes in ancient Greece. And modern research has confirmed what traditional medicine always knew. This food has profound cancer-fighting properties. I'm talking about raw garlic, specifically 1 clove of raw crushed garlic consumed daily. Now, I know what you're thinking: the smell, the taste, the social awkwardness. I'm going to address all of that. But first, let me explain why this matters so much for cancer prevention, especially after age 50. Garlic contains a compound called allicin. When you crush or chop raw garlic, an enzyme called allicin converts a precursor compound into allicin. Allicin is one of the most powerful naturally occurring anti-cancer compounds ever studied. It does 3 things simultaneously. First, it directly kills cancer cells. Laboratory studies have shown that allicin causes cancer cells to self-destruct through a process called apoptosis. Think of apoptosis like a self-destruct button that healthy cells have, but cancer cells often disable. Allicin forces that button back on. Second, it prevents new blood vessel formation in tumors. Cancer cells need a constant supply of blood to grow. Allicin blocks the signals that tell your body to grow new blood vessels toward tumors. Third, it boosts your immune system's ability to recognize and destroy abnormal cells before they become cancerous. A landmark study from China published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute followed over 1,500 people for 7 years. Those who consumed raw garlic 2 or more times per week had a 44% lower risk of lung cancer compared to those who never ate raw garlic. Even among smokers, the protective effect was significant. Another study from Italy found that regular raw garlic consumption was associated with a 57% reduction in colorectal cancer risk. But here's the critical detail that most people miss: it has to be raw. Cooking destroys allicin. When you heat garlic above 140 degrees Fahrenheit, the allicin enzyme is deactivated and allicin never forms. So cooked garlic, as delicious as it is, doesn't provide the same cancer-fighting benefit. I had a patient, Michael, 71, from Durham. Family history of stomach cancer. His father died from it at 68. Michael was understandably concerned. We started him on a daily raw garlic protocol. 1 clove, crushed, mixed into a tablespoon of olive oil, consumed in the morning. At his 3-year follow-up endoscopy, his gastroenterologist noted that his stomach lining looked remarkably healthy for someone his age with his family history. No signs of the precancerous changes they'd been watching for. Michael said the first week was challenging because of the strong taste, but he adjusted, and now it's just part of his morning routine. Here's how to make this tolerable. Take 1 medium clove of fresh garlic. Crush it or finely mince it with a knife. This activates the allicin enzyme. Let it sit for 10 minutes. This allows the allicin to fully form. Then consume it. You have options. Mix it into a tablespoon of olive oil or yogurt and swallow it quickly. Chase it with water. Or spread it on a piece of whole grain toast with a thin layer of butter or avocado. Or mix it into a small bowl of guacamole or hummus. The goal is to get it down without chewing it extensively, which reduces the intensity. Do this in the morning, not at night, so the smell has time to dissipate before social interactions. If the smell is still a concern, chew fresh parsley afterward. Parsley contains compounds that neutralize the sulfur compounds in garlic that cause odor. Your synergy tip: raw garlic works even better when combined with foods high in selenium, like Brazil nuts or sunflower seeds. Selenium and allicin work together to enhance each other's cancer-fighting effects. Number 4 is powerful, but number 3 is where most people are missing a critical window of opportunity every single day. And if you're finding value in this so far, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button and leave a like. I create evidence-based health content for people over 50 every week. Your support makes this channel possible. Now, number 3 involves timing. Not what you do, but when you do it. And this one surprises people because they've been told the exact opposite for years. I'm talking about evening walks. Specifically, a 15 to 20 minute walk taken 60 to 90 minutes after your evening meal. Not morning exercise, not afternoon workouts, evening walks after dinner. Here's why this matters specifically for cancer prevention. When you eat a meal, your blood sugar rises. That's normal. Your body releases insulin to move that sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells. But after age 50, something changes. Your cells become less responsive to insulin. This is called insulin resistance. It means insulin has to work harder and stay elevated longer to do the same job. Chronically elevated insulin is one of the most significant risk factors for cancer that nobody talks about. Insulin doesn't just move sugar. It's also a growth signal. It tells cells to grow and divide. When insulin is constantly elevated, it creates an environment where damaged cells are more likely to divide instead of being repaired or cleared. A comprehensive review published in Diabetologia in 2020 found that people with chronically elevated insulin levels had up to a 60% higher risk of several cancers, including breast, colon, and pancreatic cancer. But here's the remarkable part. A short walk after your evening meal dramatically reduces the post-meal insulin spike. A study from New Zealand published in Diabetes Care found that a 15-minute walk taken after dinner reduced post-meal blood sugar by an average of 27% and reduced insulin levels by up to 35% compared to sitting after the meal. That single walk changed the metabolic environment inside the body from growth-promoting to repair-promoting. I had a patient, Patricia, 68, from Greensboro, pre-diabetic, family history of breast cancer. Her fasting insulin was elevated, which concerned both of us. We implemented one simple change. After dinner, walk for 18 minutes. Around the neighborhood, around the house, didn't matter. Just consistent movement. Within 4 months, her fasting insulin dropped by 41%. Her hemoglobin A1C, a measure of average blood sugar, improved from pre-diabetic range to normal. Her oncologist, who'd been monitoring her closely due to dense breast tissue, said her metabolic profile looked better than it had in a decade. Patricia told me the hardest part was overcoming the habit of sitting on the couch after dinner. But once she made it a non-negotiable part of her routine, it became automatic. Here's your protocol. Finish your evening meal. Set a timer for 60 minutes. When the timer goes off, put on comfortable shoes and go for a walk. 15 to 20 minutes. Not intense, just steady, continuous movement. You don't need to walk fast. You don't need to elevate your heart rate significantly. You just need to move. If weather is an issue, walk inside your home, up and down the hallway, around the living room. Movement is movement. Do this every single night. Consistency is what creates the metabolic benefit. Your synergy tip: if you can, take your evening walk outside as the sun is setting. This gives you a second dose of natural light, which reinforces your circadian rhythm from habit number 5. The combination is more powerful than either alone. Number 3 is simple, free, and changes your metabolic environment every single evening. But number 2 is where we get into food as medicine. And the research on this specific drink is frankly extraordinary. Number 2 is something that's been consumed for over 4,000 years. It's the second most consumed beverage in the world after water, and it contains compounds that have been shown in hundreds of studies to directly prevent cancer cell formation and growth. I'm talking about green tea. Specifically, 2 to 3 cups of properly prepared green tea consumed daily, not black tea, not herbal tea, green tea. Here's what makes green tea so uniquely powerful for cancer prevention. Green tea contains a class of antioxidants called catechins. The most powerful catechin in green tea is called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. You don't need to remember that name, just understand what it does. EGCG does something remarkable inside your body. It activates genes that suppress tumor formation and deactivates genes that promote cancer cell growth. Think of your DNA like a massive library with thousands of books. Some books contain instructions for healthy cell behavior. Other books contain instructions that, if read, lead to cancer. Your body has molecular librarians that decide which books get read and which stay on the shelf. EGCG is like a master librarian that makes sure the cancer-promoting books stay closed and the protective books stay open. A massive meta-analysis from China, published in the European Journal of Cancer Prevention, reviewed data from over 100,000 participants across 29 studies. The conclusion was striking. Regular green tea consumption, defined as 2 or more cups daily, was associated with a 32% reduction in breast cancer risk, a 42% reduction in colorectal cancer risk, and a 27% reduction in prostate cancer risk. But here's what most people don't know. How you prepare green tea matters enormously. If you steep green tea in boiling water, you destroy many of the beneficial catechins. The ideal temperature is between 160 and 170 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot, but not boiling. And you need to steep it long enough, 3 to 5 minutes minimum. I had a patient, Dorothy, 73, from Raleigh. Postmenopausal, elevated breast cancer risk markers. Her mother had breast cancer at 62. We started her on a green tea protocol, 2 cups daily, 1 mid-morning, 1 mid-afternoon. She used water heated to 165 degrees, steeped for 4 minutes, and drank it plain, no sugar or milk. Within 6 months, her cancer risk markers improved significantly. Her doctor said her tissue density on mammogram had decreased, which is unusual and protective. Dorothy told me she'd tried green tea before but always used boiling water and steeped it for just a minute or two. The difference in taste and apparently in effect was substantial. Here's your protocol. Use high-quality loose-leaf green tea or tea bags, organic if possible. Heat water to 160 to 170 degrees. If you don't have a thermometer, bring water to a boil and let it cool for about 3 minutes. Steep the tea for 3 to 5 minutes. Longer is better for catechin extraction, but it becomes more bitter. Drink it plain, no sugar, no milk. Both interfere with catechin absorption. Consume 2 to 3 cups daily. Spacing them out throughout the day maintains consistent levels in your bloodstream. Avoid drinking green tea late in the evening if you're sensitive to caffeine, as it can interfere with sleep. Mid-morning and mid-afternoon are ideal. Your synergy tip: add a squeeze of fresh lemon to your green tea. The vitamin C in lemon increases catechin absorption by up to 6 times according to research from Purdue University. This simple addition makes the tea significantly more effective. Number 2 is powerful, accessible, and backed by decades of research. But what I'm about to tell you for number 1, this is the master variable, the single most impactful thing you can control that determines whether your body spends its time growing cells or repairing them. And it's the one thing almost everyone over 60 is getting backwards. This is it. Number 1. Number 1 is your eating window. Not what you eat, not how much you eat, when you start eating, and when you stop eating each day. Specifically, confining all of your food intake to a 12-hour window every single day, and stopping all food at least 3 hours before bed. This is the most underappreciated cancer prevention strategy in modern medicine. And the research is absolutely clear. Let me explain why this matters so profoundly, especially after age 50. Every time you eat, your body shifts into what I call building mode. Insulin rises, growth signals activate. Your body is focused on processing food, storing energy, and building tissue. When you stop eating and your digestive system empties, your body shifts into cleaning mode. Insulin drops, growth signals turn off, and your body activates repair processes that can only happen when you're not digesting food. The problem is, most people eat from the moment they wake up until right before bed. 14, 15, 16 hours of constant eating. That means their body spends most of every day in building mode and very little time in cleaning mode. And after age 50, that becomes dangerous. Your body accumulates damaged cells every single day. That's normal. What matters is whether those damaged cells get identified and cleared before they can multiply. The clearing process requires time in cleaning mode, and cleaning mode only happens during fasting, when you're not eating. A landmark study from UC San Diego, published in JAMA Oncology, followed over 2,400 breast cancer survivors for an average of 7 years. Women who maintained an overnight fasting period of less than 13 hours had a 36% higher risk of breast cancer recurrence compared to those who fasted for 13 hours or more. 13 hours. That's all it took, just creating a consistent window where the body could clean and repair itself. The study concluded that extending the overnight fast likely reduces cancer risk by improving glucose regulation, reducing inflammation, and allowing time for cellular repair processes. But it's not just about the total hours. It's also about when you stop eating. Eating late at night, within 2 to 3 hours of bed, keeps insulin elevated while you sleep. That suppresses the repair processes that should be most active during sleep. Your body is designed to repair itself at night, but it can't do that effectively if it's still digesting dinner. I had a patient, James, 66, from Charlotte, stage 1 prostate cancer on active surveillance. His PSA was slowly creeping up. His oncologist was getting concerned. We implemented a strict eating window, first meal at 7 a.m., last meal finished by 6 p.m., an 11-hour eating window, 13-hour fasting window overnight. Nothing after 6 p.m. except water or herbal tea. At his 1-year follow-up, his PSA had stabilized and actually decreased slightly. His inflammatory markers were the lowest they'd been in years. His oncologist said he'd seen very few cases of PSA improvement without medication or treatment. He asked what James had changed. When James told him it was meal timing, the doctor was genuinely surprised but impressed. James said the first 2 weeks were challenging because he'd been in the habit of snacking in the evening, But once he adjusted, he said he felt more energized in the morning and slept better than he had in years. Here's your protocol. Choose a 12-hour eating window that fits your life. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Find what works. Have your first meal at the start of your window. Have your last meal or snack at least 3 hours before bed and before the end of your window. After your eating window closes, consume nothing with calories. Water is fine. Herbal tea is fine. Black coffee or tea without sweetener is acceptable for most people. Do this every single day, even weekends, even holidays. Consistency is what creates the metabolic shift that protects you. If you're currently eating for 14 or 15 hours a day, don't jump straight to 12. Start with a 13-hour window for 2 weeks, then move to 12. Your body needs time to adapt. Your synergy tip: combine this eating window with your evening walk from habit number 3. Time your last meal so that you finish eating, wait 60 minutes, then walk. This ensures you go to bed with low insulin and an active repair system. When you put all 5 habits together, morning sunlight, raw garlic, evening walks, green tea, and a 12-hour eating window, you create a daily rhythm that your body was designed to operate in. Now here's something that connects all 5 of these habits, and it's why your age matters so much. Every protective system in your body, your circadian rhythm, your immune surveillance, your insulin sensitivity, your cellular repair mechanisms, all of them decline with age. They work brilliantly at 30. At 50, they're operating at reduced capacity. At 70, some are barely functioning. But here's the critical insight: they still respond to the right signals. At any age. I've worked with patients in their 80s who implemented these 5 habits and saw measurable improvements in inflammatory markers, metabolic health, and cancer risk profiles within months. You are not too old for this to work. Your cells are still listening. You just have to give them the right inputs. So let me ask you directly, how old are you? Write it in the comments below, because if you're 55 and you start this now, you're preventing problems that would appear at 70. If you're 75 and you start this now, you're reversing processes that are creating risk right now. The science doesn't care how old you are. It cares what signals you're sending your cells today. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Can I start with just 1 or 2 of these? Yes, absolutely. If the 12-hour eating window, number 1, is the only thing you implement, you'll still see benefit. If you add morning sunlight and evening walks, the effects multiply. All 5 together create the maximum protection. But don't let perfect stop you from starting. Begin where you can. Build from there. And here's what I want you to understand as we close this video. None of these habits require a prescription. None of them cost more than a few dollars. None of them require special equipment or training. Morning sunlight, raw garlic, evening walks, green tea, a 12-hour eating window. These are not exotic interventions. They're the conditions your body evolved to thrive in. Modern life has stripped them away. Artificial light, processed food, constant eating, sedentary evenings, and cancer rates have risen in parallel. You have the power to restore what's been lost, starting tomorrow morning. Your health, your independence, your ability to be here for the people you love, that's worth 15 minutes of morning sunlight, a clove of garlic, an evening walk, 2 cups of tea, and closing your kitchen 3 hours before bed. Don't let anyone tell you it's too late. The research proves otherwise, and so does my clinical experience. If this video helped you, subscribe to this channel and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Every week I go this deep into practical, evidence-based health information for people over 50. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 habits are you starting first? And what's been your biggest obstacle to maintaining consistent meal timing? Leave your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and your feedback shapes what I cover next. All the studies I referenced are linked in the description. Print them. Share them with your doctor. Ask the questions your appointments don't leave time for. I'm Dr. Hartmann. And you just learned what your doctor should have told you 10 years ago, but didn't have the time, the training, or the incentive to discuss. Start tomorrow. Your cells are waiting.